What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and it's Fresh Build Friday. That's right, it's that time of the week again, where we get you ready for the weekend with a brand new coil build. Alright guys, so I started saying this last year, but I just wanted to reiterate the fact that Fresh Build Fridays is going to be going through some changes. Now, I've done over 150 build videos, which is absolutely crazy to me. I never thought it would get this big, and I really never thought that people would be that into it, but you guys love it out there, so I'm going to continue the series. However, it's just going to be steering more into the direction of a first impressions build on something that I got in recently, and that is rebuildable. So today we've got this one right here by QP Design. This is the JuggerKnot RTA, and this thing has been something I've been lusting after for a long time. It is absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous, and I'm finally glad to have my hands on one of these things. Big shout out to the guys over at QP Design for giving this one to me. But yeah, we've got some stuff to take a look at, so let's just get right to it. Go ahead and grab your mod, your wick, your tools, your addy, your wire, your juice, all that good stuff. Let's go down to the close-up view and build it up. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got a ton of Wotofo coils in front of us today. That's what we're going to be using in this video. And they sent these to me because they just came out with this whole range of various different pre-made coils. We have dual core fuse Claptons, tri-core fuse Claptons, more dual coil fuse Claptons, some regular fuse Claptons, JuggerKnots, frame staple Claptons, braided, and quad core fuse Claptons. So a whole bunch of different kinds of coils here, which is going to be great for the people that really don't want to build their own coils, but they want some pretty looking coils instead of just normal round wire. So yeah, these are really cool that they came out with them because, you know, it has like the description right there, dual core fuse Clapton. It's got the UPC, Wotofo.com down at the bottom there, and it's got the resistance and everything, 0.62 ohms a piece, 3 millimeters, made of nichrome 80, 28 gauge by 2, and 38 gauge right there. So it's got all the specs listed on it. And Wotofo's always had really good pre-made fuse Claptons in their boxes, so I'm pretty stoked to have these to try out. I think today we're going to be using some quad core fuse Clapton. That's the one I want to go with for this one here. So let's go ahead and get this thing going, because this beautiful thing right here really needs a build in it. I haven't built it yet, and I'm really looking forward to using it. So yeah, let's get this thing going. Alright guys, so here are the coils themselves, and as you can see, they're pretty darn clean. You know, for pre-made coils from China, you really can't go wrong with these Wotofo coils because they look really good and they're not lying on the package. I did a little investigating and I unraveled a little bit of these leads here, and they are in fact 4 strands of wire inside these coils here, and they look like they are wrapped in 36. So they are accurate as far as what they're labeled as, and that makes me a pretty happy camper. Alright, so here's the build deck for the JuggerKnot. As you can see, this is the positive block right here, separated off with the insulator. And your coils are going to run here to here and here to here, with the airflow coming in at the side, which is a really unique design. And you can just tuck your cotton right into this well here, and it's going to be good to go. So pretty excited about this one. Let's go ahead and get going. First thing I'm going to do is just drop my coil in place and see how much I'm going to have to trim these leads. So just kind of drop it down as far as it can go there. And basically you just want to pinch it and take it back out again and see the distance there. I'm going to use my coily tool, and we're looking at roughly about 4.5 millimeters. So I'm going to go with 4.5 millimeters on this one here. We're just going to put the coils inside the coily tool both at once. Let's just do that. Put them on our jig here and put them all the legs inside the coily like that. Move the jig back a little bit, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to trim off the excess wire here. So just going to lop it all off at once. Woo, watch your eyes. There we go. So when we flip it back over, we should have our perfectly trimmed coil legs. Let's go ahead and just take these off of there. Get rid of all this excess wire. And we're just going to drop them down into place like so. Now we can tighten it down. And, you know, just like that. Crank them on in there. And you're going to want to straighten out this one coil before we start the other one, because this is going to be in the way otherwise. So just like that there. Trying to adjust it in front of this airflow a little bit. As much as possible. Tighten her down. Ooh. Just like that. Oh, you know, I really need to have a little bit of a locking system on this screwdriver. It's one thing that bums me out about the Coil Master kit. All right, and then, ooh, tight fit. Oh, bend that leg up a little bit. Just like that. And that looks pretty darn good. I think we have a pretty good start already. Really not much work to be done here, which is definitely good news. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is turn on our ohm reader here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll check our resistance by going over to the other mode. Woo! Registering in at 0.09 right now. Let's hope these ohms jump up a little bit. My target's going to be, I believe, 0.13, I think, according to the package. So let's go back over and start the tuning process. So, like I said, we've got a pretty good head start here. Really not that much work to be done on these, but I did want to just kind of warm them up a little bit and just kind of give them a little bit of a squeeze and a little bit of a zing there. That usually does the trick. Oh, look at that, jumping up a little bit, 0.1. And even the coil hasn't even glowed all the way across yet, so that's a good sign. It's usually when it starts glowing from the middle out is when you get the more accurate representation of your final resistance. As you can see, it's glowing a little bit on the outsides more than on the insides right now. 0.13, we're at our target. And that should be where it stays. Maybe 0.14, I don't know, depends. Just lightly brushing over the top of these coils. 0.14, okay. No big deal. Who knows, it could go back down by the time it's actually finished. So I'm just going to take that leg and just give it a squeeze. Because these coils, these terminals are really, really wide. They're meant for very broad coils. I feel like that's true with the Cali as well. The Cali's got really broad terminals, so you can fit massively spanning coils in there, which, you know, for some people would be a really good thing. You know what? I don't mind it myself because I like the wider coils myself, like frame staples and aliens and that kind of thing. Before you finalize anything, double check your screws. You never know when there's a little bit of an eighth of a turn or something like that could make all the difference there. So double check them before you put your cotton in, anything like that. Okay, so one little final check here and we should be good to go. Look at that, we even dropped back down to 0.13. Coils are glowing from the inside out, which is a good sign. And no hot spots that I could see. So, yeah, we're ready to wick this thing. Alright guys, it is built and wicked and ready to vape. I've got my mod set to 90 watts right now. Let's go ahead and see some vapor production. Oh yeah, pretty excited about this one, let me tell you. Let's just do one more little vapor shot here. Oh man, this thing looks gorgeous. I cannot wait to vape on it. So before we go back to the main screen, I just wanted to show you guys how you fill this thing. So first of all, you line up the square part here with the actual build deck just like that. And then you just start threading it. Once it's tight, like that, then you take this top piece up here and you pull up on it. So it's a little bit difficult to grip, especially since I got a little bit of juice on my hands, but you pull up on it like that, and then there's this big chunky hole right there. You take your bottle of juice, stick it in, give it a squeeze, and it fills right up. That is pretty darn cool. So we've seen a couple of tanks with similar filling systems, but this one is just so cool because it's so well hidden. You know, you wouldn't not expect to have to pull up on that piece right there in order to fill this thing, and then it just drops right back down and you're good to go. So let's go up to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the build. Now let's talk about the coils that we just put in this JuggerKnot RTA here. And let's just start off with the actual coils themselves. These were Tofo pre-made quad-core fused Claptons. I'm really impressed. I got to say, I'm really happy with these so far. First of all, they're listed as 0.26 ohms on the packaging, and my build came out to 0.13 with dual coils. So they are reading absolutely perfect in my book. And with that, they have 4 28 strands in the cores and 36 outer wire, which is exactly what I would use if I were to do the same thing by myself. They are made with nichrome 80 wire, which kind of worries me a little bit for people with nickel sensitivity, because that is a thing. People can be allergic to nickel. So if you are, make sure you steer clear from these coils here and get yourself some Kanthal. But other than that, you know, I'm pretty happy with these Watofo coils so far. The flavor on them is fantastic. I don't get any sort of machine oil taste whatsoever. From the first puff I took to now, I'm getting very, very true and accurate flavor. They were super easy to tune up, no random hot spots or anything like that. So very, very clean coils as well. And overall, I'm pretty satisfied with them. As far as the JuggerKnot itself, this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. It's a piece of art in vape form. And I gotta say, the tolerances are absolutely spot on. Everything fits beautifully. The threading is gorgeous on this thing. The airflow is nice and smooth. And I really just have no complaints about this thing whatsoever so far. Plus, I think it looks pretty damn good on this Wismic RX Gen 3. So with that, yeah, I love the slide up top fill feature. That is really cool. To be honest, it took me a little bit to actually find that feature. I had to go online and actually see how you fill this thing. But once I got it, I was just like, oh my God, that is absolutely insane. The airflow control is very easy to manipulate, and it does have quite a bit of airflow as well, so it can very easily support a 0.13 ohm build in this thing. I'm rocking it at 90 watts right now, which is kind of on the higher side. You know, I might be even able to bump this up to 100 watts, but that would be a very, very hot vape. So I'm going to try to keep it a little bit down. As far as the flavor is concerned, today I'm vaping on some of this 12 Monkeys Origin Series Galago, and this is, I believe, a grape and lychee flavor. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to have to look it up after this video, but it's fantastic. Let me tell you, I picked this one up at CVE. The guys over at 12 Monkeys were kind enough to give me a bottle for you know, review purposes and just for me to use and show off and stuff like that. So yeah, flavor accuracy is very, very top notch. It is really, really just popping flavor, and I just want to have another vape real quick. The wicking on this thing keeps up nicely. I'm seeing a couple of bubbles come up here, which is good news for me. I'm getting zero gurgling whatsoever, and I was a little bit worried about the wicking itself because it is a bit trickier than some of the other RTAs that I have. The actual space where you tuck your cotton in is very, very small, so you probably don't want to go with anything bigger than a 3mm coil with this one here. And I would suggest the ideal build would probably be maybe a 2.5mm 8 or 9 wrap, like a big wide spanning Italian coil might be the best possible coil for this one. I'm going to have to try that one out next time I build this thing, but for now, this build is actually doing quite well. I'm really happy with its performance. Considering the airflow slots at the top here are absolutely massive, I was expecting a lot more airflow to this one. However, it is slightly restricted, although at 90 watts, it's keeping up quite nicely as well. So I just feel like maybe a tiny bit smaller diameter coil would just provide a little bit more room inside the chamber to get airflow moving between the coils and around the coils and just cool them off a little bit more efficiently. But that about does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget to click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the JuggerKnot, Wotofo pre-made coils, or anything else you guys want to talk about down there. Also, make sure you check out the advocacy and my social media links right down there in the box below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.